Episode 29 here on the Pitstop podcast. Should you be selling on Amazon? You'll find out. Amazon, yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. Amazon just selected their two new cities, New York and Arlington, essentially Washington, D.C. And I'm so happy that they did not select Boston. I'm sure there's people here that are, disappointed, and hey, so be it. My personal opinion, my personal, say on the situation. With that being said, Chris, we field the question quite a bit. We've got people that love being on Amazon. We've got people that hate being on Amazon, and got people that are thinking about jumping in on Amazon.
It's a love-hate relationship.
It is a love-hate relationship. And one of the first things that we let people know is, you got to look at, what Amazon accounts for, right? In the market share.
Yeah. Right now it accounts for 49% of the e-commerce market and 5% of all retail spend. So it's a beast. So it's hard not to at least question, should I be on it or not? It's
yeah.
Essentially 50% of all e-com is happening on Amazon. So.
Yeah. And so, that's huge, right?
It's insane.
There's two ways to look at this too, right? So there's, the argument is going on right now, like, is Amazon going to overtake Google and with searches? And, but you kind of have to break this down into two segments. You have to break it down into like info seeking market share and product seeking market share, because it's two different.
Where do you go to research what you want to buy and more about the product, and where you go to buy it?
Yeah, Google is like the encyclopedia. Amazon is the store. Right. Is your grocery store that you go and you pick things up at. Right. We're taking it back to an old school analogy. I'm showing my age. Yeah, we had encyclopedias. Didn't you? Come on.
And now it's just Google.
Yeah.
It's just synonymous. Yeah, Google it. Kind of like Kleenex isn't. He's like, do you need a Kleenex? Well, it's actually, the brand is Kleenex. It's actually, what is it? Tissue.
Yeah.
But now people just use Google as. And that's how powerful it is.
Totally.
It's just like synonymous with searching and researching.
Yeah, and so a recent study was done in September by Spark Toro. Google's domination in the area of general search traffic is it's really, really significant, over 90%. Right. Of web searches are taking place on Google. That includes Google Search, that includes Google Images, that includes Google Maps, right? Because those are three separate areas where people are searching for information. With Amazon accounting for only 1.38%. Okay, of that info seeking market share, 1.38%. YouTube, accounting for Google owned property, accounting for 2.9% of that. So you compare kind of just like that head-to-head comparison between YouTube and Amazon, and I throw that in there, right, because we're consistently, saying video, right, and can't get enough of it. It's so important. The how-tos, the product. We're telling everybody, both from that info side as well as that product side, creating product-based and also creating that how-to side of things. Because now you're really like combining the two and putting them together. That's separate point, right? However, on the product seeking market share, and this is really interesting, man. Same survey. According to the same survey, this number jumped from 1.38 for Amazon to, what was it? It was a little over 10%. 10%. Yeah, it was a little over 10%. Doesn't seem like it makes sense, with Amazon accounting for 49% of all e-com traffic.
Yeah.
And this is just according to this one particular survey, right? Recent survey, the most recent survey, September 2018. And SparkToro, Rand Fishkin, from Moz, really, reputable source. And, I think, obviously there's conflicting numbers and conflicting surveys out there that, report, up to 49%, 46, 47%, give or take, that U.S. internet users started their product searches on Amazon, compared to 35% of users who started on Google first, right? So that's, you look at it that way, like info versus product. Once again, you get back to should we be, selling on Amazon if those are the numbers? It's kind of hard not to, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons for everything too. I mean, Amazon's great, obviously, because they have all this traffic, all this business. But then, all right, well, what's the flip side of that? There's more cooks in the kitchen, and now margins are going to be tighter because Amazon's taking a cut from your orders, and so you're paying for that essentially. And so it's like, okay, great. It's maybe very good for brand awareness, getting your name, your product out in front of the masses. But then what's the flip side of that?
Well, one thing that you just mentioned is brand awareness. And I have to mention it, I have to say this, and this is part of Amazon's growth, right? Once again, being a marketing purist, right? That we are, this is our opinion, is that, and based on what Amazon's been doing in the marketplace, they've been building their brand awareness at a much bigger, better rate than, in my opinion, than Google, right? They've been diversifying themselves into other areas, buying Whole Foods, getting into, the Amazon Echo, all the voice activation, voice search tools, right? And I was telling you earlier, my 2-year-old son goes to Whole Foods with grandma twice a week during the day, right? And we take him to the mall on the weekend, and he sees the Amazon kiosks in the middle of the mall, and what does he say? He says, "Whole Foods, Papa, Whole Foods, Papa, Papa, Whole Foods, Papa, Whole Foods," and runs over, "Whole Foods, Papa, Whole Foods, Papa." This is a toddler, 2 years old, who is recognizing brand awareness with this logo inside of a Whole Foods. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Google's not doing that. I mean, just the push on the diversification and getting into other areas with the voice assistant, it's absolutely, I just feel that Amazon's doing a better job of building their brand. That's why you're seeing this growth, right? So I had to say, you mentioned brand awareness, and you wonder why, why is this happening? And these are factors as to why it does happen. So getting back to, should we start selling on Amazon?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a clear yes or no. I mean, every company is different. Everybody has different goals. But one thing that is very, black and white is there's a ton of customers on Amazon. There's a ton of traffic, but not everything's created equal. You might not want to sell all your products on Amazon. You might want to only sell a subset of your products on Amazon. And then if you do sell on Amazon, you might want to do it for a little while once you get the brand awareness. And then how can you start driving that traffic to your native website that you own, where there's equity in that? Because you don't own Amazon,
right?
You can own your website.
You're, bound to their rules, their restrictions,
their fees,
their policies, everything. So never abandon, right? Never abandon your own website and your website efforts. If you're just starting out in the marketplace, I think it's kind of like, hell yeah, you got to get in. If you're building, like starting a website and you have very little brand awareness, brand equity, get in on Amazon. Why? Because you can get orders.
You're leveraging their network.
You're leveraging their network.
That's the main thing about Amazon is their network.
And then it's another channel for you and your business while you focus on building out the efforts of your website. So you're bringing in some revenue to build out the infrastructure, to build out that website, continue to grow and grow it in other areas, right? And then you're attracting visitors to your overall brand and your overall brand experience. So you really focus on that brand experience and creating that brand equity by harnessing that Amazon network.
Right.
Continue to nurture them. Putting in inserts in all of the packaging
that you sent out.
Yeah. And so I say you got to get in it. It's a necessary evil. But to your point, you don't have to sell everything. You don't have to be in this race to the bottom.
Right.
You
can be smart about it. Leverage Amazon for what it is. The power, their leverage is in the traffic that they get, their brand awareness. People know what Amazon is now. They spend, I mean, I don't even know if they're making did they make their first profit this quarter? Maybe they haven't even made a profit yet. Like they're spending so much money on just brand awareness and stuff that as a company, they spent like so long without even making a profit because they're putting so much money into just growing the business. And that's why it's so powerful today and why everybody knows what Amazon is. But like, what's the long-term picture? I mean, the long-term picture is you guys need more meat on the bone. You can't just go, to the bottom with price for everything, which essentially Amazon, one of the cons about Amazon is it's a world of perfect information. Everybody's stacked up against each other and it's just who's got the lowest price. And obviously that's not necessarily sustainable. So what do you do from there?
Yeah. And, in getting back to like, if you're just starting out, right, like you have a website, you're building your brand, you got to get in, right? And then, but also there's the people, then there's going to be the customers that say, well, I've had an established website. How do I want to get in here, and what's the benefit to me getting in, right? So the benefit, once again, the benefit's still the same. It's giving consumers exposure to your brand and getting them to come back again. And if you have brick and mortar, that's something that, hey, buy it on Amazon, but then you can return it in our brick and mortar location. If you're regional or national brick and mortar, like that's huge. Like, hey, we're just going to get them, get on Amazon just to get that order, and then they can return it just at the store. And then, hey, you know what? We'll probably upsell them while they're in the store. Bottom line, necessary evil. Amazon's a necessary evil. It's not going away. It's only going to get bigger, but you have to be very strategic about it.
Right.
And there's a lot of ways to be strategic about it, and you have to have a real Amazon plan and understand, what is that plan? What are we going to do? What are we going to sell? What are we going to market? How are we going to market? Are we going to utilize Amazon's advertising platform? Are we not? What are we going to do here? Lots of things to consider, but you have to have that Amazon plan, and that is going to be different than your plan on Google, your plan in Walmart or eBay, wherever it is, local. Every marketplace is going to have a different plan. So, good thing to consider. We believe in it, right? Necessary evil. Like I said, just got to have that plan.
Right. I mean, we're all consumers. I'm guarantee like most people watching this have either an Amazon Prime account or have bought something off of Amazon. So, I mean, just think of yourself. We're all consumers. Like, think about why you go to Amazon. Why do you purchase off Amazon versus other sites? And what do you purchase on Amazon, or what Do you purchase on other sites that you don't purchase on Amazon? Answer those questions, because again, we are all consumers, and use that mentality for your own business plan. Because like you said, every marketplace is different, just like every social media entity is different. What you're doing on Instagram, not necessarily the same strategy you should have on Facebook and Twitter.
Totally.
And so they need to have different budgets, different plans. If you're not selling all the same parts on your website as you are on Amazon, look at the margins. Maybe you have more margin to play with part X, and you should sell that on Amazon because there's more meat on the bone. You know, all this has to go into that decision-making process. And at the very least, it's very important to know these different marketplaces, because we can't be naive, even if you don't want to sell on Amazon, because the profit margins aren't that high. And maybe that's true, but that's where consumers are going. And so you can't be naive to say, well, it's not in my best interest, because you got to make it in your best interest, because if not, you're going to be left behind. And it's kind of like when social media came out and Facebook, and brands were like, why do I need to be on Facebook? Why do I need to be on Twitter? I don't understand it. Why do I need to put marketing dollars there? Well, fine. Don't understand the platform. Don't do it. But you're going to be behind the 8 ball when everybody else is doing it. You're going to be playing catch up, because whether you want to be on Facebook or Twitter, doesn't matter. Your consumers are going to be there. So if you want to succeed, you need to at least understand the platform, understand why it's important, why your consumers are there, and then construct a plan around it.
Yep, absolutely. Good stuff, dude.
Yeah, I try every once in a while.
Good stuff.
It must have been the coffee.
Yeah, it must have been. And some of Colombia's finest in there, I guess. So. And I'm not talking about the.
You haven't had coffee, by the way.
I've got back.
He's on the no coffee caffeine diet.
Yeah, and my skin is great.
Your teeth are gonna appreciate it.
Wow, jeez, oh man, ding. Anywho, episode 29, should you or should you not be on Amazon? Anything else, you want to add, Chris?
I would like to say, you guys throw in the comments. Are you guys on Amazon now? Are you thinking about being on Amazon? What are some of your challenges that you have on Amazon if you're on there now? We'd love to hear your comments and your feedback and hear what you guys have to say.
Absolutely. Pitstop podcast. We're out.
Say that 10 times fast.
Pitstop podcast. Pitstop podcast.